The pay transparency laws are rolling out across the U.S., including in states such as California and Washington and in New York City, echoing similar legislation in countries like Denmark and Belgium.
These laws make it compulsory for employers to post salary ranges alongside certain job offers. Advocates argue these laws could tackle inequality in the workplace, but some warn this could foster conflict among workers or even bring wages down. Sally Patterson reports from New York.
The application process for job seekers is in the middle of a shake-up. A spate of new laws is helping jobs stand out from the crowd by requiring companies to provide salary ranges up front to applicants.
Most jobs, depending on your work experience, so if you have like 5 years of work experience, say working in fashion or even working at a bank, you don't want to work at a place that if you know you have the work ethic and you know you have the experience behind that, you don't want a low salary.
I think it's important to understand what you're getting yourself into when you're going for a role. Yeah, just transparency is important.
It would not affect my likelihood of applying for a position. Generally, I think people know what their rate of earnings would be for within the market, and they should be free to negotiate their own wages.
It's something advocates have been pushing for years.
We wouldn't make multi-year investments, whether it's for a car, a house, or really anything else, without knowing what value is attributed to that item we're investing in. And likewise, when you're going after a job, you need to know what you're going to be paid for your effort, your energy, your skills and knowledge that you're contributing to that organization. So it seems very strange to me to not communicate upfront what the transparent salary is.
Proponents stress these laws are game changers for pay equity. Figures from the Census Bureau estimate women in the US are paid 82 cents for every dollar paid to a man. An upfront salary range could help marginalized groups land the same wage as their white male counterparts.
The majority of the people in places of power to hire people like us, to hire women of color, women in general, they don't look like us, and they may have their own biases that we need to correct for. We need to have something in place to protect us and give us a fair shot. So while I don't think that the paid salary transparency laws are going to be a panacea for this issue, they're not going to solve the wage gap. I still believe wholeheartedly that we have to own and advocate for ourselves and be more confident as negotiators. This is a step in the right direction.
Failure to comply means employers could be fined hundreds of thousands of dollars. And as workers head back into the office, advocates warn companies need to get on board with the changes or risk being left behind.
But there's concern the changes could actually foster conflict or resentment between co-workers, while others warn the laws only tackle a small part of a wider taboo around talking about pay. And researchers at Brown University have found pay transparency laws could have an unintended consequence, bringing overall wages down.
The research is theoretical based on economic modeling. Some of it's looking at different state laws passed in the U.S., where we compare the impact of these pay transparency policies that are passed in, let's say, New York, but not in New Jersey until at a different time. And we see the evolution of wages across these states. What we found is that in states that passed the pay transparency laws, after 3 years, wages were about 3% lower than we predict they would have been without these laws. Overall, I think there are trade-offs with any complicated policy like pay transparency that affects both workers and firms, and people react strategically. So I think there's some good and probably some bad as well.
Experts say a move towards more transparency laws are likely in the coming years, but whether these will be enough to narrow pay inequity is yet to be seen. Sally Patterson, CNA, New York.